Hi, welcome. This is Mark Kokovac. I'm going to be taking you through another one of our sketchbooks. This is the render demo how to draw superhero sketchbook. So this is a how to draw book as well as a sketchbook rolled into one. Got the front cover here, the back of the book. It's a hardcover book. We have 100-gram paper inside. The edges are painted, kind of match the color theme here. And what I wanted to do is kind of take you through the sketchbook and kind of show you what's inside. So let's open it up. It has a nice handy elastic band to kind of keep you secure. So this here kind of shows you, gives you some information about what's inside, some of the other renderdemo.com products, including some video tutorials and some stencils. This sketchbook the art inside was created by Andy Smith. He's worked for Marvel, DC. He's the creative director at Ominous Press. So super great guy, amazing, talented artist. I can't say enough about how talented this guy is, but he approached me one day and we got together, started talking about putting this book together, and a few months later we had it here. So thanks, Andy, for helping put this together. This one actually is signed by Andy. We have his autograph over here. Yeah, so chapters include anatomy of the male superhero as well as the female superhero. We go through some facial features, head proportions, some head perspectives, some foreshortening, look at the torso and the waist box, and then adding some costumes to the characters as well to kind of bring them to life. And at the back of the book we include some reference material and a few templates. Andy kind of describes his process, and all this text here is by Andy, and he's been in this industry for a number of years, and really knows his stuff. So he kind of starts kicking it off here with just the anatomy of the male superhero, kind of calling out some body features, muscles and whatnot. And then going on with how to actually start setting this up. So all this artwork that he created here really to help you understand how to set up a superhero. And the goal with these books and our collection of how to draw books is we give you some guidelines on the left or some instructions on how to do it, how to start putting together, and we give you the space on the right to actually go and sketch alongside. So as you're reading, you're actually doing at the same time. And we feel that really helps artists, especially people that have never drawn a superhero before. Really keeps them kind of close and keeps them engaged, doesn't discourage them too early on, and they just decide to give it up. So here we give you some blank pages to try it on your own. And then here we want you to draw the side view and maybe put the back view here and give you some reference points to kind of pull over. And then we start giving you the front view, some guidelines, side view, we start taking them out, we start flipping the individual so you can practice that. And then we phase out those guidelines and slowly getting them lighter and less. Here, head on, kind of practice on the right. Then we get into the female superhero, so kind of showing you how to set that up. Try it over here on the right. And kind of same thing, keep practicing. And then building up these stages here, keeping more body shapes. And then as you get to this area, adding some musculature in there, defining your body forms better. So over here, the process is just showing you the three processes, the steps over here for the back. So kind of keep practicing those. Keep going. Some practice pages. Half of this book, I would say even more than half of this book, maybe 70% of this book is pages for you to actually sketch in. So it's not a sketchbook, or it's not a how to draw book exclusively. Like, we really want you to be sketching in this. So here we go with facial features, kind of looking at the head and some of the eyes, how to kind of put those together, practice on your own, some of the ears. Practice on your own. We go through the nose. Cover off with the lips. And once you understand those body parts, or the head parts, we wanted to give you the head proportions. So how, where you place those, what are the dimensions that you kind of go off of, and Andy's steps for putting that together. Some practice pages. And then here's the head proportions from the side view, profile view. This sketchbook, the paper quality is 100-gram paper. It's pretty good for any type of pencil, graphite, erasers work good on it, pens, ballpoint, ink pens. The only caution I'd give is, when using markers, is just to be careful on really wet markers, because those ones, they'll really saturate the paper and kind of bleed through. So maybe try to use a marker that has had some usage already. It may not be like a brand new one that'll just start bleeding all the way through. So colored pencils work great on this as well. So just some different perspectives of the head. Practice pages, and kind of go through the same process with the male head. Step 1. And these are kind of showing you this pose number 2, 3, and 4, and the stages of development. So the first step here, second step, and then the third step with the added details. And then trying to replicate those steps here. So it's a number of different head shots. Practice pages, get into some foreshortening and theory of that, and how that is applied to some body parts. And then the body in perspective, so putting the pose in some action poses here, and then trying to replicate those with some step 1, 2, and 3 above, and you're trying to simulate what's happening with step 1, build with step 2, and then step 3 with your detail. And if you use blue pencil, or maybe pencil just really lightly, you can achieve step 1 and 2 fairly lightly. And then step 3 could even be where you start using black pen or marker to kind of define those shapes, and you can erase your lines that you use to build those forms. Kind of erase those away, and you'll be left with the nice inking. So a few practice pages. We do the same for the female. Body in perspective, so similar, just a few different poses. So kind of practice on your own. Kind of go through the torso and the waist box for the male. We do the same for the female. And just some other body parts, arms, the lower legs. And then the costumes, this is the fun part, making your hero come to life. Do you put a cape on them? How high are their boots and gloves and wristbands and protective gear, things like that. So this is really cool. So we give you kind of the starting point, and your thought is to kind of go in and get them costumed up. So we do that for a few, maybe add some costume poses here. So when you're developing a character, having the front, side, and back view are important, so you can realize what this character looks like from all angles. So put the costume on here, see how it looks. Same for the female. And then the back of the book here, another cool sketch from Andy. The back of the book just has some, comic book publishers, some website links. These are all, Andy Smith's recommendations, some printed materials that, he has in his collection. Design schools, the ones with the asterisks, actually have comic book, curriculum geared towards comic book design and character design. So kind of check those out. Some trade shows, Comic-Cons, a list of Comic-Cons. In US and Canada, in Europe, overseas. And then in the back of the book here, what we always want to do is have a bunch of templates that you can go in and maybe preserve these. Don't sketch over these, so that maybe a year from now you want to go and be able to kind of get back into it, or you're a little rusty, you want to get back into it. You kind of leave these preserved so that you can put them on a scanner or a photocopy machine, make some copies, maybe print them out a little bit bigger, and keep sketching on whatever paper and printers you have on hand to be able to do that. But we have a lot of different poses in here for you to kind of use as reference in the back at any time. So that's it for the sketchbook. But what I wanted to show you now, and if you want to get a book, please visit renderdemo.com, and you can see this book there along with some other how to draw books that we've done so far. There's a bunch more coming in the future, but what I wanted to show you is we created, Andy and I, we've created these stencils. And the idea here is, like, say you filled up the book and you wanted to, you grab a piece of paper from your copy machine or whatever, you have the ability to kind of go in and start using this. And I'm just going to take a random pen that I have lying around and, go and you can jot down, there's some markers here for, your proportions of head height, the amount of heads, so you can kind of put those in. You could trace out, you have like these little points, lines, and these indicators to kind of help you just get a basic idea of where these areas are, and not put everything in for you, but you kind of match up the points and be able to sketch on your own. And I'm not going to go through and actually sketch because I haven't really mastered sketching this yet, but you can kind of get the gist of, you get the idea here. So if you wanted to put your line straight across for the male body, you can kind of go in there and start, try to replicate what's shown over here and start sketching for the male. There is a profile view, and we did the same for the female body, female hero as well over here. So really cool, handy guides. These things, if you don't want to carry a sketchbook around, these things are super thin. You can put this in any bag or book or backpack, duffel bag. In addition to that, we do have these. We did this on a Kickstarter, and these were offered to our Kickstarter backers, these little anatomy cards. Kind of just, front and back, one of Andy's, original sketches that we kind of printed here, gave that as well. So yeah, if you like this book, please get a copy, and I'd love to hear your comments and feedback. If you have any other ideas for us for future books, or just have a general comment, please post it at the bottom of this page in the comments. I'd love to hear from you.